ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. Yes, we're back. Midday Market Report with good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis, live from Cape Cod as we're up to 34 degrees. We're going to talk some pucks, props, and thoughts with Mr. McInnis as a huge NHL slate. The headliner today, can the Bruins get KRACKen in Seattle tonight? As currently, right now, let me go over to my trusty board here. The Bruins are minus 126. You can get the KRACKen at plus 105 and under over a 5.5. At the circa now 6, so maybe they're expecting some goals there. But first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. And of course, Mr. Terry Smith at AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. So without further ado, as a busy man as he has a show in 24 minutes, we can't be late, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, Andrew?
How are you, Jeff? Good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Besides, I just spilled my whole water bottle on my desk. I'm doing pretty great, actually. I love the board for today. There's actually a decent couple games, and I have a few underdogs I like for today, Jeff. We'll find out if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because the underdogs are what kind of killed me yesterday. So what was it, 4-1 yesterday for the dogs, if we talk about the opening line? So the dogs got it going yesterday. We'll see if they can keep it going today. But, yeah, some decent numbers today. And I'll tell you what, like, something that you've taught me, and, something that you always said was trusting the opening number, but I feel like we've used that with football. With the money line sports, we've liked the flip, and I was a little bit surprised to see you didn't hop on Utah with me yesterday, because minus 130-ish opener, and then it ended up being a pick. I know it went to overtime, but that one was my only winner of the night last night.
Well, it's funny because, as you know, we dove into one college basketball game, New Orleans team total over 79.5. We get there. Via text, I said to you, I left Utah on the desk. They win in overtime now, which was a sweating one.
Yeah.
The real kick in the groinies was the Washington Capitals team total over. Holy God, I think they just scored again. And then the last but not least, and it was the same setup as last Monday, the wild flip against the Kings. So I'm sitting here, would have been 2-1 in hockey. I'm okay with the 1-0 because you're right. Trust and respect in the opening number. In hockey, it's not, in other words, no one's going to the window to drop $100,000 on a hockey game.
Right.
Okay. In football, they do. So those flips can actually be moved by someone coming to put $4,000 or $5,000 on a game. So it gets kind of sketchy. Hence the team totals, the system plays, the first period overs. So we're getting closer to the Olympics. So a lot to put on your plate. Yes. Before we get into the pucks, props, and thoughts, give us your recap so far on the World Juniors.
Well, it ended yesterday, all over yesterday. And I'll tell you, I can't believe it, Jeff, but you got people reaching out. You know how it is. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to bet that. I'm not going to be able to bet that. So I tweeted out the occasional play, but felt like it was going to do me more harm than good if I gave out any plays for that tournament anymore, which is, it's disappointing a little bit, but it's fun to talk about. Look, Team Canada, it's first time in, I think it was like maybe 8 years, or no, I think it was 5 or 6 years where Canada or USA didn't play in the the gold medal game, you know, and it was in America this year. It was in Canada last year. So, you know, it's funny, Jeff, because you've got, it's a it's a huge deal, right? Like it's shocking that not just Canada didn't make the final, but of course USA didn't make the final. But I think we have to look at it the other way. And I try and be a glass half full guy, and I know you're a positive thinker yourself. We have to look at it like this. Czech played very, very well. The Czech team was a solid team. They were well rounded. Finland had a good team. Sweden had a good team. Now, would it have helped Canada to have Matthew Schaefer? Yeah, I think so. He might be going to the Olympics, if he's a backup for that. Celebrini could have been on the World Junior team. He's going to the Olympics. I'm not going to make those excuses because I think this team should have done a little bit better. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of different conversations now being said about who the top picks are going to be. From a betting perspective, I'm not trying to cheer against my fellow Canadian here, but you can go to FanDuel, you can go to DraftKings, and there's options right now, Jeff, to bet this. It's Gavin McKenna versus the field for number 1 overall pick for next year. Now, mind you, there were some guys like James Higgins that were minus like 240, 250 at some points to be number 1 overall last year. A handful of years ago, Shane Wright was projected to be the number 1 overall pick and go to the Montreal Canadiens. Well, he slipped. He didn't even crack the first couple picks. That stuff happens. So right now, you can get the field at close to plus 175, plus 185. I know it might sound funny, but that's up my alley. And I just think there's some value on it right now. The funny thing is, he still led the tournament in points, but scouts and people were saying, hey, he didn't look as great as we thought he would. So maybe that could be a little sprinkle for a plus 175. I know nobody wants to tie their money up for that long, Jeff, but kind of worth mentioning there. But I'll tell you what, like, be completely honest with you. I know that hockey is big where you are as well, but every single radio station, every podcast network I listen to from the west coast of Canada to east coast of Canada, former hockey players, I'm feeling today what it must feel like to like live in like the South and like football be such a huge deal, like in the radio stations, like a big team lost or something like that, because it's crazy right now. Like, it's the fact that Canada didn't make the gold medal game. You've got like people still talking about it here. It's Tuesday now. It's not even Monday. It's Tuesday. And everybody is calling into radio shows that people are talking about, like, maybe the sport's become too expensive. Families can't afford it anymore. There's not enough kids playing the right way, the coaches. So, the team got a bronze medal, Jeff, and people are like really upset about it.
Well, I kind of equate it to the SEC in college football, meaning the big bad Alabama Crimson Tide getting, manhandled by the Indiana Hoosiers. And the SEC dominance, well, since NIL and since the transfer portal, everyone's almost on an even playing field. Every 2 years, every 4 years, there might be a team or teams that just get the right crop. But for the Canadians and for the Americans, hey, we're the big bad USA here. We put the shirts on. We're expected to dominate. And especially in your country when it comes to this. Hey, if we're not playing for the championship game, it is a net loss.
Well, I was saying to my girlfriend yesterday, like, it's the same. It must be the same feeling as, when I'm watching Team USA play basketball at the Olympics and everybody's cheering for everybody but them, right? This is what it's like. I mean, at the end of the day, I know when I'm talking on social media, I'm cheering for the favorite, and I have to be understanding that. So it's anything besides winning is a letdown, and it's a funny situation to be in, right? Like, I'm not going to lie. I me, I'm not trying to sound disrespectful saying this, but I truly believe one thing that might have hurt Czech was that they celebrated beating Canada as if that was their gold medal. And they the way that they celebrated, Jeff, I had a tough time thinking they were going to go into that one. Like, if I was giving out a pick on that game, I would have taken Sweden all day long, just because it seemed like that semifinal victory was Czech's gold medal victory.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Big slate tonight. I know you got to leave here in about 9 minutes max here. The headliner, can the Bruins get KRACKen in Seattle tonight as they head over to Seattle? right now at the circa minus 120. You can grab the Kraken at plus 108. Open 5.5 over. The circa has it 6 under minus 20 cents. Bruins been leaking some oil, but again, here we are as the favorites here. Initial thought there before we get the pucks, props, and thoughts.
Yeah, it's interesting because you've got this Bruins team that is on an extended road trip right now, but they get to be the team with the rest advantage. And we've been finding that a lot lately. I've been looking around the NHL. It's these interesting situations where you have, the visiting team isn't the team playing the second half of back to back. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the condensed schedule, with the way the NHL has been because of the Olympics. But think about it, Jeff. The home team is supposed to be the team with the advantage. The home team is supposed to be the well-rested team. You've got the Kraken. Look, one of my favorite situations I've used this year, and I'll be honest, it hasn't been a great year, but there's been one situation that I have liked, and it's been fading a team when coming off a lopsided victory on the front half of the back-to-back. I don't believe in automatically betting on or betting against the team in back-to-backs. But I like it when a team is coming off a lopsided victory. It just seems like they're going to have that big exhale moment. They're going to feel good about themselves. And maybe that could be the case here with this one. Looking at the Boston Bruins, though, I have been a little bit impressed with their defensive play. 2 goals allowed against the Canucks, 2 against the Oilers, 2 against the Flames. I've changed my mind on something, Jeff, and that thing is that I used to believe that end of road trips mean over. I've now noticed that end of road trips have kind of looked like boring games. Like, let's just play this game and get out of here. Kind of lean towards the under in this one. Slight lean towards the under. Wouldn't talk anybody out of a play on the Boston Bruins, but kind of like the under in that one.
Well, again, we got a handful of minutes, and everyone's here for one reason and one reason only. Andrew McInnis, pucks, props, and thoughts. The stage is yours.
Well, there's so much to get into, Jeff. There's a ton of games here. I'm going to start with this one because this is one of the heavy hitters of the night. Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning. And let's combine 2 things in one here. We'll give you a pick and a prop. I like the Tampa Bay Lightning to get the job done, and I like Nikita Kucherov to get us a goal here. Kucherov, I think he's had a pretty good streak. He's scored in 3 straight games against the Avalanche, but he's getting plus 160 against this team, which I really like. He's looked great since coming back from injury. It's not often you're going to get plus 160 on a player like that, but because of the matchup, it makes a little bit of sense. Everybody always says things in life will often come in pairs. Well, we saw the Avalanche finally drop a game in regulation. I think that happens again here. The Florida double doesn't always mean you're going to get a split. Just because you're playing in Florida and you're playing the Lightning and the Panthers doesn't mean you're guaranteed to go 1-1. You can definitely go 0-2. And I think that this Avalanche team has looked great lately, but they're starting to show a little bit of signs regression-wise. And man, oh man, this Tampa Bay team is just playing such great hockey. I don't really want to get in the way from them. So I'm not sure if this will be an official release for me or not, but that's an underdog that I'm a little bit interested. Look, I understand the numbers back up the Avalanche. I mean, right now, their possession, their Corsi numbers, a lot of their offensive metrics look great, but I have to look towards the underdog when it comes to this one. Another underdog I kind of like here in this one is the Anaheim Ducks. And, this is a Ducks team overall. They played yesterday, and I've talked about this with the back-to-back scenarios. Sometimes you're inclined to fade a team on the second half of back-to-back. But and Ralph Michaels, he always tweets out those great trends and stats. When a team gives up 6 or more, but especially when it's that 7 number, they typically have a very good bounce back the next game. And the good news for the Ducks is they don't have to wait very long. They get to play the next night, the following day, against the Flyers team that lacks offense. This, to me, is a good opportunity for a very disappointed and upset Anaheim Ducks team to get to bounce back in a very big way. Look, Philadelphia is a good team. They've impressed us quite a bit here, Jeff, but let's be real here. Do they deserve a minus 155 opening number? That's really the question we have to ask ourselves, and I think that Anaheim is worth a little bit of a sprinkle. When it comes to another heavy hitter of the night, Dallas and Carolina. when you think of these two teams, you don't really think about overs. You don't really think about high scoring games. But when I look at what Dallas has done lately, give up goals, and give up more goals, and you look at Carolina, well, they just allowed 7 goals to my Montreal Canadiens. And a big reason I think is it's their defense starting to kind of get a little bit worse, but Brandon Bussey is their goaltender. And every year it seems like Carolina has a random guy that just appears in their goaltending system. But he was on an unbelievable streak. But every streak comes to an end, and he's definitely come down back to earth a little bit here. I see no reason not to play over in that game. I don't. And I look at the overnight number. I saw 6.5, and you can play a team total if you'd like, but I'm a little bit interested in that one. And I'll tell you what, if you want a favorite on the board here today, the Edmonton Superstars, they play very well against Nashville. Leon Draisaitl in his career, if you want some player props for a goal scorer, for an over 1.5 points bet, Leon Draisaitl cashes tickets against the Nashville Predators. I'm not usually a puck line guy. I hop on the team totals with you. I think this could be a puck line play for us today, -1.5 for the Edmonton Oilers.
And good eyes on Tampa. It is a Tampa number. You can get them around plus 101 to 103 right now. I like where your eyes are there. The Anaheim Ducks, again, leaking oil. Philly, the Broad Street Bullies here, playing some great hockey there. As you said, Dallas, Carolina, must-watch TV. Florida, Toronto, go Panthers. And again, the late night special at 10:07, Columbus, San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? First 1-4 wins that game as well. Andrew, Scroll has been going the whole time as always. Everyone knows to follow you at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk, WT.Buzz /AM. AM, excuse me. $5 Tuesday. What else do you have to offer behind the paywall?
And Jeff, the late night special doesn't have to always be a great game. Columbus, San Jose. I think San Jose will be happy to be back at home. They're a team that just plays much different when they're on home ice. Look forward to watching that one. Maybe that could be a live dog as well to end the night. We've got that great deal, the $5 Tuesdays. As I mentioned last week to you, we used to have just one play up for $5. Now we can post every single play we have up for grabs. Actually, we're not allowed to post football plays for this week for $5 because that would just saturate the website a little bit. And, I don't think anybody would be posting anything on the weekend anymore. But anything college basketball wise, NHL wise, anything that I'll have up at Wager Talk. But the big deal we have right now, 7-day package for the price of 3 days. So regular price for 3-day package, you can get that, but 7 days. And it's a great time to get 7 days. It's a busy, busy time in the NHL, the condensed schedule, so many games, a lot to go on. And the pressure. We talk about the spaghetti strainer. You give out one pick, right? And the 3 other ones you liked, they're going to be the ones that come through. So if you guys want to hop on board with me, WT.Buzz /AM. We're also recording an overnight show. It used to be live, but now it's recorded. You guys can check that out early AM on the Wager Talk channel. And well, the picks I gave out on that show, Tampa Bay and Carolina, Dallas over 6.5.
Go watch Andrew in exactly 7 minutes. Go follow him at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk. You can come follow us, of course, at EC Sports and Bets. It's been a great morning. Breakfast Bankroll, followed up by the Midday Market Report. Everyone, behave yourself. Stay in your lanes. Enjoy the action. It's just the first week of 2026. It's going to be epic. Buckle up and stay tuned.